It was a small, like 12 by 60 single wide mobile home. And I think I made $700 in profit off of it.
Okay. Okay. And what could you have made off of that deal?
If I would have been a better negotiator and knew more, probably 1,700.
All right, guys, this is Kelly from Hills Deals and Wheels Mobile Home Investing Course, and today we have a special guest, Mr. Aaron. He said it was okay that I call him Aaron Cha-Cha. Aaron, how are you doing today? And would you want to share your real name, or are you okay with Cha-Cha?
Well, I'll just tell them it's Aaron Shashamovitz, but everyone calls me Cha Cha because it's just a lot easier.
Okay, all right. So introduce yourself to everybody, Aaron.
So you know my name. I used to sell mobile homes, or at least try. But now I run a digital agency that services manufactured home community operators, RV park owners, and we do lead generation websites for wholesalers. And our company name is ParkWeb. And I'm from Tennessee in the
You-
mountains.
Okay, okay. And so, Aaron, you have wholesaled, is it just one mobile home or a couple of mobile homes, or how did that work?
So I put, I think, six mobile homes under contract. But being unexperienced, I was only able to close one deal, and it was a small, like 12 by 60 single wide mobile home. And I think I made $700 in profit off of it.
Okay. Okay. And what could you have made off of that deal?
If I would have been a better negotiator and knew more, probably 1,700. I think the price that we had closed the home at was like 2,500. And so I had it listed for 3,200. It was an older, like 1982 or 1983 single wide.
Okay. Was it in a park or on land or what was it?
It was on private land, and
Okay.
the owner just he was a pretty nice guy. Um, I found the lead on Facebook, and which is where at the time I found all my leads, and just messaged him and said, "Hey, I've got buyers that are willing to buy your home, but I don't think we'll be able to get it sold for that price. Would you be willing to take 2,500?" It was something like that.
Oh,
And he was like, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna send you over a contract, just get that signed, and then I'll go take this over to my buyers." And I think within about 2 or 3 weeks, we had the home sold.
okay. So, Aaron, it sounds like you did that virtually, or
Yes, everything I did was virtual.
wow, didn't know the seller, didn't know the buyer, never been to the home.
Now, well, I'll give you this. So the contract and everything with the seller was done virtually. And then when I found the buyer to buy the home, they actually lived about an hour away from me. And so I went over to her, and their house had burned down. It was another single wide mobile home, and they had, 5 acres. And she was like, "I'm gonna move it over here to that part of the land." And I had met up with her a couple times just to give her reassurance, have her sign some paperwork, and um, got the check from her. And then it was it.
Wow. Okay. So did the seller own the land too, or just the mobile home?
I think they own the land as well, but for me, I was just so focused on I just need to get a sale.
So did you have to deal with the title company at all, or?
No. I left that. So once the sale went through, the seller sent over the title, and then I handed it over to the buyer, and that was it. And I didn't do anything else with the title. I put it all on their backs.
Wow. Okay. And so, and how did you go about collecting your money?
Um, so I got the check from the seller or from the buyer, and at the time I was working with a friend of mine who lived in Washington State, and so basically sent that check over to him, waited for it to be processed, put in the bank, and then he sent out a check on my behalf over to the seller. And then once the seller got his part of the check, then he sent the title to me.
Wow. Wow. So you did all this virtually, and had you taken anybody's course or you just figured this out on your own?
So that friend in Washington, there was an exchange of services. I worked for a company called Snickfish, and they actually, ironically, they processed mobile home titles, right, for mobile home park operators. And basically, when I left that job to do this, I had contacted, his name's Ben Knott. I had contacted him and said, look, I can see that you're doing really well at this. I really want to learn how to do this. I don't have any money to pay you, but I'm willing to exchange services. If you need a website built or some marketing done, I'm willing to exchange that in order to learn how to do this. And then we worked out like a commission for, closing deals, which I think was like a 50-50 split. And then after so many, it was like a 70-30 split. Um, and so he pretty much kind of ran me through how the process worked and what I needed to do. And it seemed pretty simple, right? Get a lead. The hardest part though is knowing market value, right? Knowing the value of a home, I think is one of the single-handed most valuable pieces of knowledge you need to have, because if you don't know the value of the home, you may not make very much money when you sell it.
Right.
You'll lose margin on the sale.
Okay. All right. And so what about the liens and the taxes? How did you go about checking that?
I didn't. I I was so in the dark with this sale, but I was just kind of counting on, I just thought it was just that simple. Like, here's your check, you hand me the signed title, I hand it to them, and we're done. But I didn't check for liens or taxes or anything like that owed on the home.
Okay. Okay. And so why mobile homes? Why mobile homes?
I already had an existing network of people just from doing marketing at Snickfish, and a lot of them were wholesalers. And so I'd see these posts, someone closing a home for 10 grand and selling it for 25. And I'm like, well, geez, I'm in the wrong business, and I saw it over time and I was like, okay, maybe I need to try this. And that's pretty much, what caused me to get into it, just having the existing network.
Okay. And Aaron, you have been in the business now for how long? Because you're no longer wholesaling, correct?
Correct. So
Okay.
in the mobile home side, in the mobile home industry, I'd say we're in 2024, so 7 years now. But I've been running my business for three. So prior, I was already in the mobile home world for 4 years.
Okay.
When I ventured out to try to sell mobile homes.
Okay. And so are you licensed to wholesale the mobile homes or you don't have,
I was,
how does it work out there in Tennessee? Do you have to have a license or how does it work?
I don't believe so. Plus, I was just floating the title, I wasn't signing it, putting it in my name, paying taxes, and then getting the new title and then signing it and giving it to the buyer. It was just seller signs it, I float it, hand it over to the buyer, she signs it, now it's hers.
Wow. I mean, you make it sound like really, really easy. Okay. So you no
It's
longer
not.
wholesale. Say that again. But
It's not.
it's not what you make it sound easy. What was the hard part about it?
For me, being in the position that I was in, having a family to feed and bills to pay and having no income for those 3 months except for that one sale, I think the hardest part it was not truly understanding the value of mobile homes, like in the market value, and having a sense of desperacy to, close deals and make something. So I had no patience, right?
Mhm,
And I was spending 14 hours a day literally scouring Facebook for leads.
mhm,
And the odd thing was is I had all these prior skills, right? To build websites, to do search engine optimization, to get leads to come to me,
mhm.
right? And I just went about it the hardest way possible. And I didn't really do enough research and I didn't have a full understanding, which is really what made it hard. I
Mhm.
think, after time though, if I would have kept on, it would have become easier. Like any business or anything you're doing, right? The more you practice, the better you get. But, initially the concept of doing it and just what it seemed like it was seemed really simple. So of course that's probably why it sounds like it's really easy.
Right,
But
right.
you don't know what you don't know, right?
Mhm.
Until you've gone through it. I'm just thankful I didn't get in trouble and I didn't do anything that would have caused me to, have even more issues or cost money that I didn't have. So,
Okay. And you know what, Aaron, I'm glad you brought up SEO, the search engine optimization, because I myself have issues with that sometimes. When you put people think you could just make a video and just throw anything up on YouTube and voila, and that's just not the case. That's not
no.
not how it works. So I might be hiring you myself because I have a little issue with SEO, but so can you explain to everybody, and I know we're getting a little bit off topic, but it's really important. Can you explain SEO to everybody who don't understand it?
So, search engine optimization is the process of optimizing your website to rank on search engines. Um, Ideally, that's through having helpful content, which is actually something that Google is very keen on. The largest search engine being Google, with over 2 billion searches a day. If there's 2 billion searches a day and you do your part right, and you can get just 100 people to come to your website in one day, and even if just one of them becomes a lead, right? And you do that one a day, that's 30 leads a day. And if we do the law of averages, right? If you can just close 10% of those, that's 3 leads in a month. If you're doing it right, you can actually make good money. And I've seen this because of our clients.
Hmm.
But so search engine optimization isn't just having good content. It's also about using the technical aspect of it, which would be understanding keywords and key phrases. There's long form content and short form content. Um, and knowing like doing the research to figure out what are people searching in your area or in your state to find someone like you who would buy a mobile home. It obviously, if we use the right words and we rank the website up at the top, the chances of you getting a lead are much higher. And the benefit of it is the leads come to you hot. If you're going and trying to find leads by going on Facebook or other marketplaces and contacting them, they're like lukewarm. They're not coming to you. You're going to them. So then you're having to turn them into a hot lead, either by convincing them that you can do a better job or that you have people that would buy their home right now and actually having people that would buy a home. I remember generating buyer lists by putting up fake listings just to get people that would want to buy a home to be
Exactly.
on my list so that I could say, I don't have this one, but I do have one that just came into our inventory. It's a 2018 Clayton single wide. It's whatever. Um, and so wouldn't it be nice to have something that generates leads for you where you can wake up every morning and see one or two leads are waiting for you to call them?
Right. And like you said, serious people, because you might be, when you're on Facebook, you might be contacting a ghost ad. And like you said, if they contact you, oh, that house is already gone. Believe me, I've been there, done that in the past. So you absolutely correct. And I tell you what, Aaron, I have taken a couple of courses and been on YouTube University trying to understand SEO, and it's just amazing how that really helps you, like you said, with the ranking and Google Trends. That's another thing I found out about
Mhm.
that was very useful.
So
Man, I know we're getting off topic, but man, you have I'm glad I'm interviewing you because it's amazing.
I have a tip for finding ghost ads. The easiest thing to do is when you click on the marketplace listing, click on the person that's listing it and look at their seller profile. If they have more than one home for sale, the chances are they're probably doing the same thing you're trying to do. That's actually how I weeded out the actual sellers versus wholesalers.
Okay, so let me get this correct. If you click on somebody's ad and they have multiple homes, you would think
Mhm.
that would be a ghost ad?
Correct. It's highly likely that if you have someone that's got four mobile homes for sale, that they're
Gotcha.
probably doing the same thing you're doing.
Gotcha.
If it's just one and you see that they've got a tricycle for sale and a bed for sale, they're
Right.
probably the person you really want to talk to. That's regular Joe who's selling their home. And so I actually figured out who were the people in my area that were selling mobile homes, trying to do what I do, right? And that's how I figured out who not to waste my time on contacting.
Aaron, I mean, a light bulb just went off of my head because it's true. If somebody is really selling a mobile home and it's a private person, you will probably see a bicycle or this or that, other things that they have sold versus, an investor who might just have a ghost ad.
Correct. Or even if it's real. But that's it just it made sense to me because I was contacting five or six people a day and then having conversations throughout the entire day. And then I ran into a couple people that were like, yeah, I do the same thing you do. And then I started getting smart and I was like, okay, I don't want to talk to those people. I want to talk to the people who actually own the mobile home. But I also ran into other issues. I would find people trying to sell a home that I had listed.
Aaron, now you're not gonna believe this. Not only did this lady, she actually copied my entire advertisement. And then when I contacted her about it, I said, "This is my home. What are you doing?" And then she had the same price. I said, "You're causing confusion." And she said, "Well, I have plans on buying your home." Well, until you buy it, that's when you put it out there. You don't copy my whole ad while I'm trying to sell it myself.
Yeah,
And then I really had to threaten her. I told her, that's not gonna, if I tell people in the mobile home community that that's what you're doing, you're really gonna be frowned upon. And then after that, she wound up taking it down.
we
But
call
yeah,
those
I had that happen to me as well.
they're called daisy chainers. They're trying to, use your hard work to make money off of you.
Wow. Wow. So is there any way to kind of skirt around SEO or not?
No, it's something that you can go learn, but it's a just like anything. It's not something you can like it's not like a book you can go read and just be like, I know how to do it now.
Right.
It is such a vast skill set, and
Hmm.
the amount of knowledge out there is almost infinite. And so even I learn on a daily basis new things after, gosh, I started doing SEO 5 or 6 years ago. And till this day, I still learn more things. I'm like, wow, I didn't know I had to do that. Okay, let me go implement that on my client websites.
Yeah.
But the good thing is once you've reached the top, it's really hard to lose that position, like
Hmm.
really hard. So when
Hmm.
you're at number one, the chances of losing it are low.
Hmm. Amazing, amazing. So what about hashtags? Does that play a part? Because I've been reading, hashtags count, hashtags don't count. What about that?
For social media, maybe. I mean, if there are people that will, you know, if I go to Facebook and I type in hashtag mobile homes for sale, then I'll see everyone that's trying to sell a mobile home that has that hashtag. But that's social media. For your website, it bears no weight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that won't help.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. So tell us something else about this. So you started your own digital agency to help with. Do you want to tell them a little bit more about that, or?
Sure. So in our first year, we didn't have a niche, right? It was interesting. I already had this huge network, but I wasn't thinking about how can I do something for these guys. For me, it was, okay, got a business. God, I just bring what you can. I'll just take care of it and I'll make sure I'll tithe back into your kingdom. And he did. He brought me all kinds of different projects. And then we had our first mobile home park. And that was with Mario Datillo, who runs Celebrate Communities. And once we launched that, it kind of opened this big door. And at the end of that year, we had Levi Parham reached out and said, hey, I've got a wholesaler website and it's not doing so great. And I was wondering if you can help me generate some more leads. And I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of this when I was wholesaling, right? Like I just didn't think of it. And so he came into contract with us, and then we started doing his SEO for it was a 12-month schedule, so 1 year. And to this day, he's still number one in the search results in Georgia.
Well, and
Um,
you know what? I actually interviewed Levi.
yeah.
Yeah, very impressive. I actually interviewed him. Wow. You know what, Aaron? It was meant for me to contact you because I'm very interested in your services myself. I'm
Well, we could
serious.
definitely talk about it.
Yeah, I am serious. So, can you go over a little pricing or what would something like that cost?
Well, I would say the pricing is not for the faint of heart. Um, we've spoken with many wholesalers over the last 3 years. It's definitely for someone has established themselves in their market and is capable of doing some virtual wholesaling because, and I want to get to the pricing, but I want to explain this.
Sure.
Um, if we were to do SEO for just one city or five cities in let's say it's a 30 mile, 40, 50 mile radius, you may get some leads, but the chances of you getting 10 leads in a month might be low. So typically when we build a wholesaler website out, or an investor website out, we do the entire state and we start with 100 cities, and those are typically the top cities, so the most populated cities. And then we branch out into the smaller areas around them. Right now, we're working on Tennessee, and I think we've got 700 cities built out. Those are individual landing pages, and they're all meant to capture people in those local areas, right? Um, Typically, we have two models. If you're not ready to pay monthly, we build your website out. It's $6,500 flat rate. We'll cover the top 100 cities, but we will not do the SEO for you because you're not paying for it on a monthly basis.
Mm-hmm.
If you if you want to go the year route, right, which is the 12-month schedule, it's $2,500 a month, and that covers it's a multitude of things, which we send over a 12-month schedule that explains everything we're doing in 12 months. And of course, we provide reporting. It seems like a lot of money, but I can justify that by saying if I give you 40 leads a month and you don't close two or three of them, then you're doing something wrong.
Okay.
Out of 40 people, you should be able to close at least two to four of them. We have some clients who close more. I know Khalid Omotosho has months where he'll close four, five, six, seven out of those. He probably gets 60 or 70 leads. So he's got, I'd say, at least a 10% closing ratio for the leads we generate for him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so 10% is about the right number. We've seen 15%, but 5% and above is where you want to be at. One deal could pay for your monthly service. Two deals brings you margin and a substantial profit.
Interesting. Interesting. So, Aaron, what are your thoughts about ClickFunnels? Or does that play any factor?
Um, we don't do anything in ClickFunnels. I definitely know about ClickFunnels.
Hmm.
They're really good, I think, when you're selling a product,
Okay.
right? But for the sake of this, I mean, we're talking about using the right keywords and the right verbiage and driving people to give you their information,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm telling you I'm gonna make a cash offer on your home. There's no hassles, there's no fees, there's no realtors. See what your home's worth today. We'll call you within the next hour or less, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing, guys, if you have a website and you're getting leads from it, I will give you a tip that we've learned over the last 3 years. The faster you respond, the more likely you are to get a hold of that person. Typically, in 5 minutes or less, you should be responding to your leads. Anything after that, you've lost a lot of interest because guess what? 3, 4 years ago, nobody was really doing the SEO as like they are now,
Mm-hmm.
and the markets were not saturated in terms of websites trying to get leads. Now, for every state, you're going to find multiple websites trying to rank for all the top cities. And guess what these people are doing? If you're first, they're going to go to you. Guess who they're going to next? The second website, and then the third website, and then the fourth, because they're going to see who gives them the best offer. They're shopping around. So the faster you contact them, the better chance you have of making that lead a solid lead and putting them into a contract before the next guy does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Aaron, I really have been studying SEO and from what I understand, like the first three websites that pop up on your screen, those are the ones, and then people trust that kind of stuff versus something that's way down at the bottom. So believe me, I
The,
understand what you're talking about.
the likelihood of them going past the fourth result is extremely low. And you can verify this by just thinking about yourself. When you do a Google search, are you going down all the way to the bottom to find something? No. Google is a content curator. They want to give you the best results based off of your search. They're very good about it too. So that's why you typically don't click past the second or third website. These
Mm-hmm.
people are doing the same thing with these lead generation websites.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so what you offer is mainly for people who are trying to wholesale property. You're not really offering anything for people like trying to sell stuff like myself.
I mean, if you sell stuff, are you talking about like a product?
Like a course or
Um,
I would like to, populate towards the top.
we haven't done that, but if you were to ask a mechanic to fix a vehicle and say, "Can you fix this too?" He'd tell you yes, right? It's all the same thing to him. So
Hmm.
websites are all the same thing to me, and SEO is all the same. It's just dependent on who's your audience, who are you trying to capture, and what search phrases are you trying to rank for. I know we had talked about doing something similar to this for Michael Wiley with
Hmm.
Flippin' Mobile Homes. I wasn't sure though if he wanted to do his coaching side or his lead generation side.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So how would somebody reach out to you if they're interested in your services, Aaron?
Well, you can find me on Facebook by just typing in Aaron, Aaron, Cha-Cha, and I'll be the first. Um, or you can email me at Aaron, Aaron, at park-web.com.
Okay. All right. And Aaron, this is a question I ask everybody. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now in the business that you're currently in? Because it's obviously mobile homes is probably not what you're doing anymore. Am I safe to say that or?
No, I mean, we've pretty much cornered a lot of the market and taken a lot of the pie. So I don't foresee us getting out of it, but where I see myself in 5 years is not really building the websites anymore, but um, myself,
Mhm.
but rather my team. and providing valuable tools that will help people that, regardless whether they use us or not, will be able to make their websites better or their businesses better.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And so, do you have any like words of wisdom, somebody trying to get into the mobile home business as far as the wholesaling part?
So as far as wholesaling, no, but I can give them valuable insight and wisdom that will help for any business.
Okay.
Structure your business on the back end. Take the time to be organized and have a good accountant, you know. Make
Mm-hmm.
sure, especially when you start making 100, 200, 3, $400,000 because you sold 30 or 40 mobile homes in a year. Um, Make sure you structure your business on the back end in a way that if you ever hire someone too, that they're not coming into a mess. And again, hire a good accountant, somebody that understands taxes. It's important to understand money. A lot of people can make a lot of money, but they don't understand it, right? So that's put processes in place and automate as much as you can,
Mm-hmm.
or hire someone to automate for you.
Gotcha. All right, guys, here we have it, Mr. Aaron Cha-Cha out of Tennessee. And guys, I really thought we was gonna be sitting up here talking about wholesaling mobile homes, but he done went off into SEO, and I just jumped on him. So I appreciate you, Aaron, getting on here a lot, and I will be contacting you.
Kelly, it was a pleasure for you to have me here. I appreciate your time and I look forward to speaking to you soon.